warm welcome to another episode of Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing. What a time to be alive. Cheltenham Festival just round the corner. Hopefully, we can build your betting bank with a few winners on the dogs. And we've got just the man for you, Tony Bullen, open race correspondent of the Racing Post, armed with the knowledge to provide us those winners. Tony, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. As you say, it's brightened up in recent weeks. Got Cheltenham coming up and the dog racing continues thick and fast.
Put a smile on your face, bit of sun on your back.
Certainly has. It's melted me hair. My ears have got lower for some reason.
Good time of the year for racing as well. Around about this March time, I just think Monmore Puppy Derby, Coral Golden Sprint, and they are the two competitions that we're tackling today.
Yeah, as I say, the youngsters, the Monmore Puppy Derby's always been one of those events that stood the test of time. If you look at the previous years, the winners that he's thrown up, Derby champions, and it still remains one of the yardsticks today.
Right, before we get into all of that, you are here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Whether you're watching us on YouTube, drop a comment. If you're watching us on Facebook, drop a comment and a like as well. We get across all the comments and hopefully you're following us in. It wasn't to be last week for the Naps, but we've been in great form. And I mentioned the Cheltenham Festival is around the corner. Keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube feed. You've got loads of shows, live shows, all the experts, everything you need to know. Don't ask me and Tony what's going to win at Cheltenham, but we will be able to provide you with the answers here on the Racing Post YouTube channel, as well as the usual Thursdays, get all your football stuff with the assist. Tuesdays, Steve Palmer will tackle all the golf action as well. So we've got it covered right here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Right, let's get to it then, shall we? We are going to tackle Monmore. We'll look at last week's first round heats, views on that, and of course, views on the semi-finals on Saturday night, all live on the Premier Greyhound Racing service. You can watch that behind the red button on Sky Sports and, of course, on the PGR website. And we'll have an outright look at the Golden Sprint. Not yet digested the first round draw, although I will reveal that my best bet of the week is in one of those Golden Sprint heats. Outright view there, and then we'll give you the best bets of the week. And then we'll be done, and we'll be back next week to look over the British Breeders at Nottingham, which is ongoing. We'll look back at the first round of the Golden Sprint, and we'll, of course, be looking forward to the final of that Puppy Derby. And the Puppy Derby is where we're going to start. So we're going to start with heat number one. And all eyes were on Droopy's Aladdin here. The big mover in the outright market was as big as 12s into sort of 7-1, 15-2. Went from trap one, did the business. 28.44. Ballymac Kobe, the Puppy Derby runner-up, was second in trap two. And Ballinakil Liam showed plenty of early pace for Mark Wallace in trap 6. 1-2-6. But Mike Burton's Droopy's Aladdin with the early pace here, Tony.
Yeah, what impressed me as well was the start. It was just an impeccable start, brilliantly timed out the boxes. And the way this dog rows, he's a very nice prospect for sure. And tailor-made for Monmore, his style of running, Droopy's Aladdin. But he quickly took the race by the scruff of the neck. Ballymac Kobe's no back number, run up in the Puppy Derby at Toaster. 6 showed a little bit of promise, pacing up early, out wide. But it was all about Droopy's Aladdin's impeccable start and tight railing, Dave.
Yeah, I was very taken with how Ballymac Kobe ran here. Now, I'm still yet to decide whether it was a little bit of an optical illusion and Droopy's Aladdin's maybe a little bit short coming home, Ballinakil Liam's a little bit short coming home, whereas Ballymac Kobe has got the form over 500 metres and rather than him staying on like a train, maybe they're just folding up a bit coming home. But I thought he stayed on really, really well when he ran well in defeat.
Yeah, he just needs to show a little bit more urgency at the boxes. He's twixt in between at the moment, the dog. As you say, he's running okay, but he's failed to convert a couple of decent chances of late.
He's capable. No, he is capable. Right, let's move on to heat number 2. Droopy's event in trap 2, 28.35 winner for Seamus Cale. Out of trap 2, Arthur Job, an eye catcher in 1. And big early pace from Paul Young's Uncle Ed in trap 4 here. Another one who was short coming home, but showed all sorts of early speed. But the winner from trap 2.
Yeah, keep an eye on the boxes. Instantly made a beeline for the rails, did Droopy's event, but been plying his trade at Hove and going the right way at that venue. It was Uncle Ed who showed a nice bit of early pace to open up a lead, but Droopy's event was on the case and he sees out the 500 metres well enough at Hove and he just applied that pressure in the latter stages. Again, nice bit of railing from Droopy's event. And as you touched on, Arthur Job really knuckled down to the task in the second half of the race and ran a blinder in defeat.
Yep, 28:35, the winning time there. Now, Uncle Ed turned over there, but I've got to say that Youngie's got a nice team of youngsters around him at the moment, hasn't he, Tony? We're about to see Boma's Wildcat, but I think the kennel might be set for a decent year.
Yeah, they do look a decent batch, and most importantly, they've got a little bit of early pace, which is what you would want. And obviously, Paul being based at Romford, most of his start off at Romford over the 400 metres. But yeah, it's about time Youngie sort of got a couple of nice, decent youngsters on his hands, and he appears to have unearthed a couple.
Yeah, I think that kennel will have a big year, the Burton Lodge Racing Kennel. Right, let's move to Heat 3, and this was the standard setter. Fastest heat winner here, Racket Hall Brute, out of Trap 3, 28:10. Not off the front, though. Winner for Mark Wallace. Boma's Wildcat for Paul Young in Trap 4. With Bullseye, runner-up in the Northern Puppy Derby in the stripes here as well. 3, 4 and 6. Hell of a run from the winner.
Yeah, it's a strange race. I mean, lots going on around the first two bends, but what a dream run Racket Hall Brute got into the race. I mean, he doesn't really start moving through the gears until the second half of the race, and once he had got that dream run to turn so close to the pace, Dave, it was all over as a contest because he really does stride out strongly from bends 3 to 4 coming home. But yeah, it was a good run. No surprise to see him put up that time, but it did open up for him in fairness, but you can only put yourself in them positions and do what the damage was well and truly done in the second half.
Yeah, exciting dog, Racket Hall Brute. We saw in this competition last year the likes of Clona Curly, Barntick Bear, that are just 500-metre dogs that you got to have a go, right? Romeo Tomcat crashed out in the first round, but you've got to have a go because this is the most lucrative and prestigious puppy event that we have. But Monmore is a speed track. Forget what we saw during the Winter Derby with the likes of Droopy's Pivotal coming off the speed, whatever. Early pace is the name of the game here. So seeing dogs like Racket or Brute coming from off the speed, it regardless of what happens in this event, you just think, wow, like what about 500 metres at Toaster and the Greyhound Derby and 500 metres at Nottingham? And, that's going to be the making of this dog, the step up.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to be suited to a stiffer 4 bends. But this is the thing with these strong runners. Although Monmore is the speed track, if there is a race where there's a lot of early pace, something has to give. All of a sudden, that strong runner is on the case at halfway, and then the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, well, it was on the wall there. That was a great run from Racket Hall Brute. 28:10, standard setter. Right, Dark Madam, another one for Seamus Cale. 28:47 in Trap 2. Droopy's Berries, I thought, again, run well, even though in defeat this time, Trap 1 and Carmack Pete in the stripes. 2:16.
It was a good run from the Dark Man. I mean, she was 20-1. She was having her first race of the year, but she got that decent line of form at Toaster, and I thought she did this really well. I mean, the Droopy's Berries dog is a dog that I really like. He's a big 37-kilo dog, and he just looked a little bit unbalanced to me. He was on the case, but where he's so burly, he's like a burly type of dog. He just never sort of could get on an even footing for me. He was persistent throughout and went on nicely to the pickup, but all credit to Dark Madam. She put herself in front and stayed there.
Yeah, nice performance that from the winner. 28:47, the winning time there. We move on to heat number 5. A little bit of Irish interest here. Jack Tevin Chief for David Byrne in 28:52. Trap 5 here doing the business. Deliveroo in the stripes. Rogue Duo in Trap 1. Early pace wins the race.
Yeah, and this was, a lot of people go, dog's got early pace. This wasn't necessarily a slick exit, but within 3 or 4 strides, Jack Tavern Chief showed good pace to the bend. He managed to nick this. Deliveroo will improve for a further look round, but this was Jack Tavern Chief winning the race round them first couple of turns, and Deliveroo really did make it honest, and Rogue Duo 25-1 for an August 23 son of Droopy's Jet. Connections would have been delighted with that run from the outsider in third. But yeah, early pace, you can nick a race from the front of Monmore, and this showed that. Yeah,
nice early pace from Jack Tavern Chief there, 28:52. Now, we save one of the best till last, although not on the clock. I thought this was a really good display from Headford Dame, 28:47, well regarded by Connections on debut. Trap 3 here. Le Peur sang in Trap 5, big early speed, resonating 4. But I thought this was a really nice performance from the winner. If you're connected to this dog and you're seeing this on debut, trialled well, it's not all gone his own way, but he's still got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good run. It looked the part in trials, but trials for show, races for dough. And I think his task was helped. Who just seemed to take a full stride immediately out of the boxes, and that enabled Free to sort of avoid any early crowding. But what impressed me, the dog was undecided when challenging. He was like, shall I go inside or outside? And that hesitation nearly allowed Le Peur Sang to stay out in front. But eventually, he had to come over the top on the outside up the home straight. Le Peur Sang was obviously flagging close home, but also keep an eye on another outsider who ran a blinder, Resonate, for Kevin Hutton, finished very close up to the action, but Free would have won a little bit more cosily if he would have not been undecided when challenging for me.
Well, loads more to come from the winner there, and all of these. That's what makes it such an interesting competition. Is they're so lightly raced. They're still learning what the game's all about. So the penny can drop. Improvement can come at any stage from a number of these. Still a wide open competition, and we will now look at Saturday's semi-finals. Once again, big plaudits to Labrooks and Corals here. First out the trap, sponsoring and of course pricing up the semi-finals, which we've got here for you. Now, this will be the 7:22 semi-final number one on Saturday night. Rakiel Brute 13-8, Droopy's Aladdin 11-8, Arthur Job 12-1, Jack Tavern Chief 5s, Deliveroo 6s, Carmack Pete 33s. Will this simply be a case of catch me if you can? The likes of Droopy's Aladdin, I think, will lead. Jack Tavern Chief might be a presence early doors. And then we're just looking for the red jacket here. What sort of run is the top going to get?
Well, he could get a nice toe into the race because I think 2 will lead 1 and 3 up. 4 will apply a bit of pressure. But the last time they met, Droopy's Aladdin just finished a length in front of Racket All Brute. And I think he'll steal the march and fend off Racket All Brute, who will be finishing best of all in the latter stages. But I think Aladdin can nick this from the front, Dave.
Yeah, 2 votes for Mike Burton's Droopy's Aladdin. They're 11-8. I think early pace might just prove the key there. But, I mean, you wouldn't mind a price on Racket or Brute qualifying because I think, as Tony said, get a nice run through. Going to be finishing very, very strongly. Looks a nice type. And who knows, the draw in the final will be key as well. Hopefully, the big guns will make it through. Best of luck to everyone involved there. Semi-final number 2, 7:39 on Saturday. Rogue Duo 8-1, Dark Madam 11-4, Ballymac Kobe 6-4, Uncle Ed 9-2, Resonate 10s, and Bullseye, a swift Bullseye at 5-1. What are your thoughts here, Tony?
I'm going to be with Dark Madam. I don't think it was a flash in the pan. I mean, she got that 29-27 at Toaster in December, and that was her first competitive start since then. So the fact that she's won, picked up where she left off last year, I thought that was a good run. This Swift Bullseye dog, now I know he was beaten a long, long way. He is a ticking time bomb. He's a bit of a thinker for sure, but don't be fooled by that run. I know he was beaten 14 lengths, 29-21. He's a lot better than that, and he could ruffle a few feathers in this particular semi.
Well, he's well drawn in the stripes. I don't like the price here, but my vote is going to go to Ballymac Kobe, who's just an all-rounder. I'll say he starts and stays. He's not exactly clockwork out of the boxes, but he's very, very strong his game, and he's another one that I'd fancy to qualify at least here. I'm not too keen on the price available at the moment, 6-4. I think you'd probably get bigger on the day. And Uncle Ed's got the early pace, 9-2. If you like a leader, if you like a little bit of early boot, you could do a lot worse than, take 9-2 about Uncle Ed. They're pups in behind. Anything could happen, and he might just get away from them. So an interesting race. Semi-final number 2. Semi-final number 3, 7:56. Droopy's Invent, 9-2. Droopy's Berries, 11-8. Headford Dane, 100-30. Bowman's Wildcat, 7-2. Le Peur Sang, 10s. And Ballinakil Liam at 12-1. I'm very much with the 2 here. I think this is a worthy favourite. Headford Dane's obviously open to improvement after that winning display. But I think coming off the fence, I think there's a better start in Droopy's Berries. I think back to that debut run when fetching in Droopy's Aladdin. That kind of sticks in the mind that was a really, really good run. Good all-rounder. And I think might boss the inside here, early doors around the turn, and that might be that. So Droopy's Berries for me. What say you, Tony Bullen?
Well, I think Connections would be delighted that they're drawn off the fence this time around, particularly with Droopy's Invent. You wouldn't have wanted Droopy's Berries in 1, Droopy's Invent in 2. I would have been cringing if I was connected with Droopy's Berries had that been the case. But I think with Berries in 2, Invent in 1, can only help the cause of Droopy's Berries. And I think he'll beat 1 and 3 to the punch to control the inside. Obviously, 5, Le Peur Sang's been showing very good early pace, and that will be prominent. But this is all about Berries. He's strong. He's a burly type. There's a bomb in him. You can see that with his action, with his style of running. So, I'll be all over Droopy's Berries myself.
2 votes for Droopy's Berries. Then, before we move on to the Golden Sprint, any sort of outright view here, Tony? I mean, the way the draws panned out, I'm kind of leaning towards Droopy's Berries. I put Swift Bullseye up price-wise in the paper. Just got to try and have a seeded dog on side that could keep qualifying. So that was kind of the angling with Swift Bullseye. But, anyone who snapped up the 12-1 about Droopy's Aladdin, I think, would be very, very happy. But I like the way the draws panned out. Droopy's Berries for me.
Yeah, I would be with Berries. The dog that has got to be massively considered was that Rackettle Brute. I know he done the fastest time, he got the run of the race, but if this is a final where there's the likes of like Aladdin, your Le Peur Sangs, and there's a lot of early, it's only going to suit Rackettle Brute if he can qualify for the final. So I would have him on side as well, the Rackettle Brute dog.
Okay, let's move on to the £10,000 Coral Golden Sprint. The draw is out. We'll just have a little dip into the outright market. 5-1 the field here. Lynx Maverick, big race champion, good form over course and distance as well. Lynx Maverick, 5-1. Fire and Ice, now trained by Nathan Hunt, the Puppy Cup winner. Coolio Gold, 7-1. Stone Park Hoffer, 8s. Millbank Boiler, 12s. Whitewood Lenny, 12s. 14s. Bar. Quick view on the Golden Sprint. Good renewal. They've got them travelling from all over the country for this one.
It's a fantastic renewal. The only thing I do fear, there's so much bursting early birds in this race.
What do you think was going to happen? Is the Golden Sprint?
Yeah, it's gonna. It could be eyes shut at the turn because there's a lot of railer. It's a railer heavy as well in terms of early birds. But I like Stone Park Hoffer, Dave. He got to the final of the national sprint for Sarah Roberts, and he heads into this event. He won an egg and spoon sprint competition at Sunderland in the last couple of weeks, but he done the track record, 23.72 in the prep trial. I think he can overcome a draw. He'd be all right drawn on the rails, which he is in Heat 4 on Friday, but he's also well equipped from a middle slot as well, and I'll be with him. I think you have to keep a wide. There's not many. I think there's 4 wides in the competition, and Whitewood Lenny. You've got Droopy's Eddie, Brindle Bully. Now, Droopy's Eddie, this will be an amazing story. I mean, this dog broke down last year, I think in this event, Droopy's Eddie. Now, that'd be his trials suggest that he's ready to rock and roll, but that'd be some story if connections can get him through the first round or even to the final, because this is such a hotly contested event. But I like the Hoffer dog, and I think that trial consolidates that he's suited to track and trip.
Yeah, he's got exceptional early. I'm really glad you flagged up Droopy's Eddie because, he looked a big player in this event when he went wrong. So it's great to see him back, and fair play to Maxine Locke and all the team there getting this dog back because it was quite a nasty injury. And as you say, his trials suggest that he's coming back and he's going to be a big player. But seeded dogs, I agree with. A couple I've picked out here. Clona Stand, I think, looked a big price at 25-1 runner for Nathan Hunt. And I really like the draw. We'll get onto this in a moment, but I really like the draw of Union Rebel as well. So 14-1 and 25-1. But it is wide open. You can make a case for Lynx Maverick at 5-1. If he explodes out the boxes, does 23.50 in the first round, it becomes 2-1 favourite. You think, well, what was all the fuss about? He's a machine. But there's real depth to this competition. I'm a big fan of Stone Park Hoffer as well. Savile Roberts travelled down, of course, last year, didn't he, with his Pat Dioro and won the Silver Maiden. So they know the time of day, those guys. They're not travelling down to make up the numbers. So we wish them well. Looking forward to that on Friday night. It's going to be absolutely fantastic live. Of course, on the Premier Greyhound Racing Service behind the red button on Sky Sports Racing. You can find it on all the bookmaker streams and, of course, on the website itself, Premier Greyhound Racing site. Right, best bets of the week. Tony, where are we off to?
I'm going to go with the Golden Sprint. I think it's such a great competition, and every heat is a head scratcher, to be true to you. But the opening heat, I mean, you've got Millbank Boiler, who on his day is exceptional. He's a joy to watch him full flight. But he's got the national sprint winner on his immediate inside. You've got Breamore Paldy, Bubbly Bombay, who have got pace to the bend, and Whitewood Lenny for Maxine Lott, set for a solo out wide. He's back in the groove. I think he can get the run of the race. So that will be my nap.
Stripes there, good strike rate, good form over course and distance, good bunch of lads involved in Whitewood Lenny as well for Tony. I'm going to go to Romford. I'm going to go for the Golden Sprint as well. And it's a red hot heat, this one, but I love the draw of Union Rebel, who goes down the middle. The dog inside's going to dive towards the inside. I think I put up Front Alice as a winning nap a couple of weeks ago. Same dog drawn inside here, going to step inside. So same draw for Union Rebel. Got loads and loads of early pace. And I tell you what's a key factor here. Kevin Hutton does not have many runners at Romford. It's not a track that Kevin enjoys travelling to. I don't think he enjoys racing there. He's had success in there in the past. But it's like we've got trainers travelling from all over the country. He's coming from the other side of London where they're based in Burford. You know, you're doing a lap of the M25. They don't travel to make up the numbers, Team Hutton. So this dog is here to go very, very close in the Golden Sprint. I think it's a big price at 14s. I think it's got a draw to die for in what is a red hot heat, but will be a backable price. So Union Rebel for me, 8.54 at Romford on Friday night in the Golden Sprint heats. Right, that is it, Tony. It's been an absolute pleasure. Listen, next week's show is going to be chocker. We're going to be looking at the Golden Sprint. We're going to be looking at the Puppy Derby final. The British Breeders final will be on our radar as well. That's ongoing at Nottingham. It's never ending, mate.
Yeah, I think ain't the Kent Vars, Kent Plate coming up at Central Park as well. So it's absolutely endless.
But we love it. Top class action up and down the country, all live on the Premier Greyhound Racing Service. It's been a pleasure as ever. Good luck at Cheltenham next week. We'll be back during the middle of the week. Hopefully you've absolutely smashed it up on the Tuesday and you'll be armed and ready to go to punt on the dogs on the Wednesday when you join us with Off the Leash. Enjoy the ground racing, gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next time.